right, everyone. Actually, we do have Wessam here from BEKHealth, so we can hear from them. Wessam, I'm just going to spotlight you for everyone. Glad you could make it. Feel free to go ahead.
Hello, apologies everyone. It kind of sucks when you're a tech company and you can't even operate the Zoom. Um, I am going to share my screen. Thanks everybody for having me here. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Wissam Sombul, CEO and founder of a company called Delve Help. Delve as an organization, we've got two different buckets of the business. We've got a pre-screening module, pre-screening team, and on the flip side, we also have a DCT platform. For today's purpose, we are talking about our pre-screening capabilities. Delve is an organization. We're based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. We've got about four different hubs throughout the world: U.S., Belize, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia. So one of the things that we're focusing on is, from a pre-screening perspective, how can we truly help support sites to increase recruitment capabilities, to capture patients, throughout the night, and how do we truly automate our capabilities? From a pre-screening perspective, we've got really two different arms. So under the pre-screening, we have our own patient pre-screeners out of the Belize office. They're all multilingual pre-screeners. They come at a flat rate cost. And the purpose for that is to really kind of have multilingual pre-screeners that can help support your sites at a lower cost, but also help improve kind of the top of the funnel. Also have access to US EMR systems in order for us to be able to capture that secondary screening information as well. More recently, we've actually developed our own AI module, and the goal for there is how do we truly make clinical trials more human, right? Engage patients throughout the day, throughout the night. And then, when we think about it, how can we automate and then reimagine clinical trials using AI? As we all know it, AI is kind of the big thing around, but also from a screening perspective, 70% of patients that want to be part of clinical trials, they don't even go past the screening capability, right? Opportunity. And 50% of patients that actually register that want someone to speak to, they don't even get past the screening opportunity as well. And many of them kind of fall throughout the funnel. And so what we're trying to do really here is to how do we help improve compliance from that perspective, improve the screening opportunities, and really kind of bring more patients to top of the funnel to help improve recruitment criteria. So we developed an AI module. The goal of that AI module, if you think about it, let's say Sam. Sam is a rare disease patient. She goes online. She finds a clinical trial. What normally happens nowadays, Sam is presented with FAQs, standard pages, and Sam might get a little bit lost in the funnel. So what if Sam is presented with an AI module that can speak Sam's language, where Sam can come in, enter their information, identify and learn more about the clinical trial. So the AI module learns so much about the protocol, which is protocol specific, locked in a secure space, and enables Sam to ask questions about the clinical trial, enable Sam to um, engage with that module where it can respond based on what we know about the protocol. And if the AI module learns and identifies that, hey, Sam could be a good potential person for that clinical trial, rather than Sam having to actually submit the information on an FAQ page, no, the AI module will take Sam's information, identify the right um, timing that Sam is available during and automatically schedule Sam for that for that time slot. But then that's not where it ends, right? So given that our AI agent knows who Sam really is, our AI agent can then follow Sam throughout her journey to make sure that you've got the right check-ins, to make sure that people have made the right calls, to make sure Sam is truly being engaged throughout the clinical trial journey. And the beauty about all of this is if you have a CRIO platform, You have a Delve Health AI module. It all integrates where patients can land in your CRIO tool. Our AI module can pre-screen, bring those patients in, bring in and improve your top of funnel from a patient perspective. We've seen, throughout the site, so we're almost at about 20 pre-screeners throughout the North and South America. And we're seeing some truly amazing results, right? So from a pre-screening perspective, we're seeing, much more improved top of funnel from that perspective. We're seeing that our AI module is truly learning and adapting really fast, where we're improving referrals by nearly 35% as well throughout the capability of being able to engage patients remotely as well, but also being able to integrate and reduce the site intake time by nearly 60%, which at the end of the day really kind of cuts the site cost by nearly 40 to 50% as well from recruiting specific patients as well. Um, a little bit more about kind of our AI module. So it's trained in about 75 different languages, trained on about 15 million different patient models. So those are patient models, they're not real patients. And it ingests, like I've said, it ingests the actual protocol. So it's actually speaking based on, or it responds based on what we know from the protocol perspective. And then the most beautiful part is it's dynamic real-time engagement through text message, web modules, things of that nature. I know I'm kind of coming a little bit closer to time, so I will, and that's really kind of it from our perspective.
Thanks, Wissam. Does anyone have any questions in the chat that they'd like to ask? Well, thanks. Thanks so much for presenting. Next, we will have BEKHealth, so stay tuned. We'll cut to a short break here, and we'll be back at 11:20 Eastern for our next session. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. Appreciate the opportunity to present to the community at CRIO. We've been a partner now with CRIO for just a couple of months now, and it's been a wonderful engagement. I want to tell you a little about BEKHealth, and I'm going to spend just 15, 20 minutes doing so. The title of our slide or our presentation is really, sort of how do we optimize the work that research coordinators and site coordinators do versus replacing them. And so, when we started BEKHealth, 3 or 4 years ago, when we came to market in early 2022, our goal was really to help our customers be more efficient in identifying and ultimately recruiting and enrolling patients into the studies. We think that the platform that we built is purpose built to do just that, and we've gotten some really good traction over the last couple of years. So much so that we're now being utilized by almost 200 clinical research sites, where we have access to 30 million patient records, and we're processing just under half of that, almost 15 million patient records on a daily basis. We've activated in our platform over 900 clinical protocols or clinical studies in which we're matching patients. And so, we've made great strides since we introduced the BEK platform into the market in 2022. As I mentioned earlier, our goal is to really help site coordinators to reduce the amount of manual data gathering and curating that they do, eliminate the need to do chart reviews, which are oftentimes labor intensive, tedious, and not a great use of their time. And so the tool that we've built is really around how do we automate much of the manual, less attractive work that site coordinators have to go through, and automate that chart abstraction and patient matching activity. And that's what we set out to do. We've been successful in that endeavor, so much so that we believe that we're increasing the number of eligible or clinically eligible patients 10 times. We've reduced screen fails by 70%, ultimately leading to the number one goal, which is higher enrollment rate and accrual. And we believe that if a site coordinator can shrink the time that they're spending at the top of the funnel to identify clinically eligible patients, that will lead to all sorts of goodness at the bottom of the funnel. And using AI and using technology is really intended to eliminate, ideally, all of the manual work that our users, prior to our tool, had to go through. We do all this by creating a robust data platform that has essentially 3 layers. We connect to the underlying EHR. We have 30 plus EMR adapters, representing almost 90% of the marketplace. Adapters from Epic and Cerner on the hospital side to eClinicalWork, NextGen, ModMed, Athena, and many others on the ambulatory or physician practice side. We take all that data, both the structured and unstructured data, and we pre-process it. We take all of the information that resides within a medical record. We extract all of the unstructured data out, and we normalize it against our ontology and create, a searchable and queryable database for our customers. The third component of our platform is really the application layer, and most of our customers use it to identify patients. They use it to organize all of the unstructured data, so chart abstraction. And then for our larger site networks, they're using it to figure out which of the sites within their network has the patients that a particular pharma or a particular study needs and wants. And so that's how our customers typically use our product. We try to make it as easy as possible to work with us. Our implementation timelines range between 4 to 6 weeks. ECW, Athena on the short end of that, Epic, because of the nature of a larger organization, on the higher end of that range. Fundamentally, what we offer to our site coordinators and who are the primary users is really 2 basic applications. One is a feasibility analysis tool that allows them to query the system in a robust and quick way to figure out which of the sites within their network has the patients they're looking for, really helps them understand the patient population that they have within their network. It's probably not surprising to many folks on this in the audience that many site networks really don't have a firm grasp on the population within the network that they have access to. And our tool really helps them understand that population and explore that population before they're awarded the study. And so if you think about sort of the feasibility tool as really designed for pre-award, really exploring what patients you have available to you. And then once you're awarded the study, it really transitions nicely into what we call our trial management. This is really where the CRCs and the research coordinators live and work every day. This is where they get their list of patients that are clinically eligible. And we try to make it as easy as possible for them to quickly review the chart, and then do the actual outreach to the patient and get those patients down the funnel. One of the really neat things about our application is that it's tied to the schedule within the healthcare organization, whether it's a hospital system or a medical practice. We can tell our site coordinators when the next appointment is scheduled for that patient, who that appointment is with, which doctor within the practice or the healthcare system, so that that site coordinator can plan their day and their week effectively, reaching out to the primary provider, have a conversation with them before the appointment, and perhaps even be on site during that appointment to answer any questions. That is a feature of our product that really saves site coordinators a tremendous amount of work in planning their day. Again, with the goal of minimizing all of the manual steps that they have to go through in order to talk to patients and understand if they're clinically eligible. I want to spend just a moment of time talking a little about our key differentiators. When we started this journey and entered the market in 2022, there really weren't very many companies focused on site networks. There were several companies that were doing similar work to us, focused on academic medical centers and large health systems, but very few talking about or talking to and working with site networks. And that's been our primary focus over these many years. And again, we've had some success over the last 3+ years. We're one of the few companies in our space targeting site networks that has reached a level of scale where we're managing and processing millions of patient records. We've activated almost 1,000 studies within the platform where we're helping our customers match patients and identify patients for clinical trials. We believe that we have the largest library of EMR adapters across not only primary care, but specialty medicine such as ModMed, in GI and dermatology. I think one of the core differentiators for us at BEKHealth and what we've spent a lot of time and energy building is this research-specific data model. We have curated a ontology of terms that represent over 21 or 24 million terms, synonyms, lexemes that really help us organize all of that data. So as all that unstructured data from images and PDF reports and progress notes, as all of that comes into a medical record, we're able to organize all of that against our ontology, those terms, and then organize against a common data model so that you can search millions of records in seconds versus having to wait minutes or more to really explore that data. And so, those are the key differentiators for us. We're trying our hardest to build the platform that works every time, that doesn't require a lot of expertise on the part of our clinical coordinators. One of the differentiators that I don't mention here, but I think is really important, is that we have a team of clinical research nurses that are available to our customers to help them use the product, to build the queries, to activate the protocols in the system so that the site coordinators only have to log in, see the list of patients, and then actually reach out to them directly. And I'm going to end this discussion really just talking about where we're going as a company. So we're taking a bit of a hybrid approach to how we're using AI. We use a lot of natural language processing on the front end to extract key text out of a medical record, but then we're applying LLMs to really understand the context of that text within the grander medical record. And so we can differentiate, the difference between a record saying there's a family history of depression versus that patient actually is diagnosed with depression. And so that hybrid approach, we believe, is the perfect fit for research coordinators, for site networks. We've built our own large language model to be able to read a clinical protocol, a clinical trial protocol, and pull out the inclusion exclusion, making the query building as easy as putting in a sort of search string, if you will, or asking the system questions about the data. You can copy and paste from a protocol. You can point it to clinicaltrial.gov, and it will build out the query for you. And then finally, we believe it's not enough to just identify the patient, and we've partnered with folks that you've already heard from or will hear from in this sort of in this workshop. Folks like BEKHealth and Delphi, we've partnered with them in order to take the information, the clinically eligible patients, and then have our partners immediately action those patients, driving them down the funnel and ultimately into that screening visit. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation. I've enjoyed giving it. If there's any questions about BEKHealth and what we're doing and where we're going, I'm happy to answer any questions people might have. And I look forward to working with everybody at CRIO and within your customers.
Thanks so much, David. Appreciate it. And as always, you can jump into the CRIO Partner Directory in the Help Center if you are a CRIO user, and you can search the Partner Directory for BEKHealth. They'll be in there. You can submit an inquiry there or enable your integration just with the click of a button. So yes, thank you, David. And we'll be back in 3 minutes now for our presentation.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye now.
Hey everybody, I'm Kyle McAllister, the CEO and co-founder of Triley. Let me pull up my screen here. Okay, great. Like I said, I'm Kyle McAllister, the CEO and co-founder of Triley. Thanks a ton for taking some time to check us out today. Excited to tell you about what we do and our partnership with CRIO, and looking forward to meeting some of you folks after the session here. But real quick on me and my team. So my life before Triley, I started my career in the EHR world, the electronic health record world, working at both Epic and Cerner before getting into research with CCT Research, a site network out of Phoenix as their VP of data, where basically lived these problems. I sweated and felt the pain of trying to find leads from these clinical data sources. And that's really where Triley was born. And so I started the company with my two co-founders, Ramon Prieto, who's our chief technical officer. He was one of the lead engineers at Zapier on the machine learning and data engineering side of things. And then Trevor Welch was the head of data engineering of data products, excuse me, at Zapier before starting Zapier, or before starting we had at CCT and other and in the research industry in general, and really built on the problem that has been a challenge for us for decades, and it's that enrollment's difficult. And many sites fail to enroll on the trials that they're actively recruiting for. My experience at CCT was a lot of folks focused on lead generation and finding folks from ultimately from social media, but the reason we didn't enroll was manyfold. It was either that we got ourselves signed up for the wrong studies to begin with, we didn't have a great feasibility process, we didn't have great connection with our physicians. There's a number of reasons that it didn't work, and we built Triley to go tackle a number of those root causes. And so where we're at today is we've built a core matching engine, an AI matching engine that can ingest clinical trial criteria, any trial, any therapeutic area. Our AI engine brings that in, reads through the criteria, and ultimately breaks down the inclusion exclusion into searchable fields that I'll show you here in a second when I pull up a quick demo. And then we also connect to patients' clinical data at the site level. So we're working directly with clinical trial sites. We can connect to the EHR, we can connect to the CTMS, we can even use unstructured PDF documents. And then we've also recently added the ability to enrich data to actually go fetch more data on patients from regional data networks that we've got access to. So that can be done in an EHR based or non-EHR based with no connection to clinical data. Ultimately, our engine sits in the middle of those two things and it very simply spits out patients that match trials with smart lead lists that I'll show you in a second, and trials to your sites. So we can go help you find trials that are a better fit for your study, help you work through your feasibility process to make sure that the study is ultimately going to be a good fit. And one of the things we found, and since starting the company, is getting leads, getting more patients into your trial, into your recruiting funnel is always the first problem. I need more leads, and hooking into these clinical data sets often floods the funnel with leads. We're able to find a lot of folks that are a great fit for a study. And the second level problem that a lot of our customers have is they don't have the capacity to go call and enroll those folks. And so we've also added an AI agent that we're calling Margot that can actually call, text, email, and then screen and ultimately schedule those patients back into your CTMS. And I'm going to pull up a demo really quick and show you a couple pieces of this, show you how the integration with CRIO works to help push more of these leads into your existing recruiting flow. So I'm hopping over here. You're looking at our core recruiting platform. This is what a CRC or a recruiter that would be actively enrolling on this fake diabetes study with these fake patients here. So our AI engine before this demo worked through and processed in a couple of minutes all of these inclusion/exclusion criteria and added them to the screen here. And then also takes that criteria and searches through both structured and unstructured content in these patients' charts. So physician notes, result notes, as well as structured content from the chart itself. Just this alone takes a ton of work off the sites that we're working with plates. We're seeing 90 folks drop 90% of the actual time they were spending doing chart reviews. Takes them away from doing painstaking reading through patient charts, reading through physician notes off the table. Also, by stack ranking based on the criteria that they fit, you can see whether a patient's a high quality fit to the study, and working your way down from top to bottom saves about 60 to 70% on screen fail rate with the sites that we're working with. Then when a CRC or recruiter that ultimately wants to work with one of these patients can open that patient up, see some of their information, see their fit across multiple protocols. So they may not be the best fit for the protocol we're actively looking at, but they could be a fit for another. Or you might get on the phone with them and find they're not a good fit and move on to the next. So you can look at multiple, but dig into this diabetic study and see very specific details for why a patient does or doesn't fit based on their actual clinical data. Now the CRC could call that patient, or at this point, trigger a call from our voice agent to actually call that patient and screen them into the trial. Once we've found a couple patients that are a fit for the trial that we want to push into our recruiting flow, this is where the star of the show here, CRIO, shines. We're able to push these folks straight over to CRIO with this export button, pick which site you're sending them to, which study at that site, and then mark Trially as the export source or the referral source. And those folks go over and ultimately land in the prospect list on the for that site, for that study within CRIO to go follow up. I'll hit a couple things really quick, but that's kind of the core functionality we wanted to show. We also have the ability to have with this funnel view support folks with feasibility. So like I was saying before, moving further up the chain in the study startup period to actually helping decide whether a study is a good fit for the sites we're working with. We have a really cool case study coming out where one of our sites actually used this data to do one of their feasibilities. The sponsor came back and said, there's no way you've got 493 matches for this study. They were able to screenshot Trially, send it over to them, and ultimately win the award. So seeing great results with this today. You can also dig into some specifics on who these people are. And then the last thing I'll show really, really quick is a workflow that we've built around the use case at CCT that was the most fruitful for us. It was built around which patients were physically walking into the clinic that we're working with. So we had a lot of embedded sites, but this could work at referring physician offices as well. The patients walking through the doors of that clinic in the next, 14 days or so are the folks that are going to be the most likely to engage and ultimately enroll. And this workflow is built around that. It can be built around EHR or clinical data, or it can be totally EHR-less, and our site partners can just load up the patients coming in via CSV for the next couple of weeks. We go pull down their data. We can summarize it here across multiple sources. So I live in Kansas City. This could go pull my record from University of Kansas Health, St. Luke's Health, my PCP, and bring it together in one place, and then ultimately match me to the studies that I've got loaded here. And then we see sites drive Margot outreach either a day or two before the visit or a day or two after to follow up and bring the patient in. So I'll hit a couple more things here really quick and wrap up, but quick case study. I kind of hit some of this in the demo, but this was with one of our great partners, Next Stage Clinical Research, on a difficult to enroll cardiovascular trial. We were able to significantly increase their enrollment rate on a month-to-month basis, becoming their number one enrolling source very quickly. And like I said before, decrease chart review time by 90%, decrease screen fail rate by 73%. Last thing I'll hit really, really quick, because it's always a question, is security. We're HIPAA compliant, SOC 2 certified. Happy to talk through all the details on this if you're interested in digging in with us, but would love to work with you, and hope you hit us up on the CRIO partner page.
Thank you. Thanks, Kyle. All right. We will hear from CSSi next. So we will have a short break for 5 minutes, and then I'll see you guys back here at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, we are back for our next session. We have John Miko with CSSi Research Study Rockstar, who is going to present next. Hi, John. Let me spotlight you. All right, feel free to get started.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon for some. Good morning for myself here in Chicago. I wanted to say thanks for the CRIO team for putting this together. We're really excited to, have this opportunity to talk about all the great work CSSi and Research Study Rockstar can do. So I have just a few quick slides to give a little bit of a background on us and what we offer to sites. We'll have a quick look at the workflow getting into our what we call Let's Rock and Roll portal. And just like that, you'll be up to speed on all the good things we can offer. So I'll go ahead and get my screen shared up here. Great. All right. I think I should have my bright popping slides here now, getting into presenter view. CRIO team, can I get a thumbs up? Do the slides look like they're coming through okay?
All good.
Perfect. Great. So a little bit of a background about us at CSSi and our specific site-facing team, Research Study Rockstar. We are an end-to-end recruitment advertising support unit where we are a built-for-site solution that I'll talk a little bit about both sides of the company, and then I'll ride on through the rest on the Research Study Rockstar side. But the overall company, CSSi, Clinical Site Services, is our unit directed towards support for sponsors and CROs offering traditional advertising, as well as things like local community engagement, local physician engagement, secondary screening, all that good stuff that can be interesting to folks as well. But I'll spend most of the time today talking about our Research Study Rockstar side. We offer easy and direct support to sites to get referrals into the top of your recruitment funnel for any therapeutic area, any type of study. That from here, a little bit about our process. We use proprietary data and in-house digital strategists to create custom audiences to target the population that you're recruiting for a study, whether this is primarily social media advertising or other types of media like traditional or streaming radio, traditional or streaming TV. Believe it or not, still even, I put together a proposal this month for a print newspaper campaign to get folks into a specific study as well. But from end-to-end support, right from the start of the process to us, that includes us creating your study creative or using approved materials that are supplied to you. We run and strategize your campaigns, and we're constantly improving them over the course of the campaign life, and then connecting you directly with the referrals through our Let's Rock and Roll portal. So a little bit about what makes us different, what makes us unique. We have a quality over quantity approach, where we are focused on getting you participants that are most likely to enroll in your trials. So not overwhelming with an amount of participants that might have had an interest in a study in the past for a similar type of indication, or are pulling from a database that haven't engaged directly with your trial. Any participant that is delivered to you has engaged directly with your trial and has shown an interest in participating. So a big focus on quality all the way end to end from our offering as well. Next, to look at that process there, it all starts primarily, most campaigns that we're running, again, are the digital advertising, although we support other streaming options and print options as well. But we are creating your study creative or running campaigns utilizing the creative that you have provided that's approved to us, as well as being very accessible and responsive to edits and changes, right? Anybody who's used Rockstar before, hopefully there's some folks on the call that are recognizing my face and voice today. They know that you have, my email or my teammate Isabel's email right at hand, that if you want any changes to the creative that we send over, things that have worked for you in the past, it's just a quick, direct email away. We'll get those things updated so that we both on both sides have that confidence that the sometimes limited campaign recruitment dollars that you're trusting us with, we're getting the most value out of those as well. So from there, once those advertisements are being placed, we can either intake those directly from those recruitment sources, such as like a Facebook lead form, or creating study specific landing pages that are customized to your trial specifically, sharing all that information that you want to highlight about your site in your voice and your tone, based on that relationship that you've cultivated with participants in your community, while also being wordage that's been approved by sponsor and IRB as well. From there, once participants have engaged with those advertisements, wherever that source may be coming from, they all funnel back into what we call the Let's Rock Enroll portal. So as we research Study Rockstar, everything across the brand is great, focused on rocking and enrolling. But this is a view here of a really easy setup where you can reach out to us. We quickly run your advertisements. We try to turn around campaign materials within 48 hours, sometimes as quick as 24. And then we create and populate this site for you. So, there's not a high amount of technical training to understand, how to use the interface. There isn't a high amount of learning to get a study rolling in the process. And this right here, when these referrals come in, this is where that great connection with CRIO happens as well. So initial referrals are coming directly into the Let's Rock and Roll portal. Sites have that flexibility to use it as much or maybe as little as they'd like. So we have, these sample columns here where some sites like to move along their referrals from those initial stages, tracking contacts or such in the system. But when sites are integrated with CRIO, when they hit a predetermined status, anytime a referral goes to this stage, it gets pushed right into your CRIO. So again, that's the way that Rockstar is helping alleviate that site burden of having to do any manual data entry, any personal connecting of two systems. This is something that we take off your plate and connect with your existing infrastructure as well. So from here, it's something that the process can be a really simple setup for one trial, is as small as we can go. If you have one trial and a small budget, we always try to say there's no too small of an amount that we can try to get some support out to sites for going. So that is a little bit about the actual process of getting in participants and managing and enrolling them. But the second half of that is we always strive to do great work, and we want to show you the great work that we're doing so we can build a trust with you as well, that for each campaign, you get real-time, up-to-date reporting that is showing our success in reach for your advertisements, impressions from participants, from potential participants, how many link clicks and landing page views did you get, so that if the study's going great, which hopefully and every time it is, this is something good to show off. But being, again, a really responsive team, let's say we get through those first, week or two of a campaign, and you're thinking that we're looking for a little bit more traction in this area or at this specific site. We'll use this data with you to partner with you to make updates to your campaign, very responsive in real time to meet those metrics that you're hoping for. So that is a pretty good, first look at how our process here for Research Study Rockstar works. We try to be, a simple, easy to use type of service to really get a lot of quality referrals at the top of your recruitment funnel for a trial. So the last thing that I just want to show in my last few minutes here is a little bit of that live view. Everybody likes a PowerPoint, but everybody more likes a live view. So I'll just take a minute to show here how this can look, where I have an example pulled up of a sample landing page that could be used for a trial like yours. All this information is, living on the Rockstar side of things. So all of this configuration and setup and changes, maybe it only takes a minute or two to make a change. Some people don't have a minute or two in their day to make that sort of change. So this is that workflow where participants see this advertisement, if they're interested in the trial, can submit their information that goes directly into the Let's Rock and Roll portal for your study. This is a little bit of a test site sample data that I've set up. So not too many referrals here, but in a real trial, right, we'll have many more referrals flowing through here. It's a drag and drop, click and point type of solution where you can keep track of any, contact attempts. My name here came under no response because I'm presenting here today, but your participants, will be answering the phone and looking to schedule their visits. But from here, again, it's as simple as moving a participant through an easy workflow. Once they hit that predetermined status, they push right then into your CRIO, and the workflow continues from there. So as far as my core presentation, that's what I have to share today. But if anybody would like to learn more, feel free to reach out to us at tryresearchstudyrockstar.com. You can also find us from our primary CSSi website, which is CSSienroll.com. And if you reach out, you'll be hearing from me. So hopefully that's something I get to connect with some folks that were able to view today. And thank you again to the CRIO team for putting this all together and giving us the opportunity to connect like this.
Thanks so much, John. Appreciate it. All right, everyone, we have our last session coming up after this 5-ish minute break. So we'll see you back in a few minutes. Feel free to grab a cup of coffee or, like I said, do some data entry or some leftover work that I know that we all have happening in our lives. So see you back soon. All right, everyone, we are back for our last session of day 2 of the CRIO Partner Expo. We are going to hear from Ronak with PatientACE, our last recruiting partner of today. Tomorrow will be another day of recruiting partners. Please stick around after for just a 2-minute demo of the CRIO Partner Directory and how you can connect with these partners. And then we'll be done. So take it away, Ronak. I'm just going to spotlight you. All right, go ahead.
Perfect. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you for joining on this wonderful Tuesday. Today, I'm going to share a little bit about PatientACE. We are a recruitment platform that integrates with CRIO, and hopefully towards the end, if anyone has any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. So I'm going to start off by sharing my screen, just making sure that everyone can see that.
Yes, looks good.
All right, perfect. So, I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of the typical corporate PowerPoints with buzzwords and things like that. So, we are going to we're going to look at this in the form of a story. It's called Before and After, Comic Patient Recruitment Saga. So let's get right into it. All right, so first, our main character is Daryl, and we're going to go into Daryl's story and find out why he was so sad before and what it is that made him happy afterwards. And I'll give you a little hint. It has something to do with PatientACE and CRIO. So let's get into it. Part one, leads. So before, Daryl is not very happy because he's getting little to no leads from his recruitment vendors. The leads he does get are unqualified, and he gets them in a format that looks a little bit like this. It might look familiar. It's a spreadsheet that has absolutely no further information. Or maybe you've seen this one, getting it via email and email forwards that are shared amongst different recruiters and team members. Not the most efficient, not the best way to do it. Of course, the site coordinator or the site director and owner is asking, hey, do we add those new leads from last week to CRIO? And the coordinator is going, what? I don't remember. And it's just hard to keep track of everything because everything is all over the place. There's different recruitment vendors. There's a site central campaign, and it's just a big mess. But luckily, we have a happy ending to share. So what happens? Daryl starts getting a steady lead stream. These are auto-filtered, and they are all on a central platform. And best of all, they're all automatically added to CRIO. There's Daryl afterwards. Now let's take a look, and we're going to go and kind of show you. Let's see. Am I sharing? Can you see PatientACE, or do you still see the slides?
I see PatientACE.
Perfect. Okay. So we're going to go into, we call them opportunities, and this is an example. So say, for example, you got 12 leads today for a study. Normally, they would be on a spreadsheet, and it would just be all over the place. But with PatientACE, we have them automatically divided and filtered into 3 categories. So we have our A leads, B leads, and C leads. So for this particular study, hypothetically, we're looking for 55 plus type 2 diabetics for 1 year with BMI over 27. And it's for an obesity study. And as you can see here, the system automatically sorts the leads based on the answers to the questions that the responses to the questions. So out of 12 leads, we can see 3 of those are A leads. They're exactly what we're looking for. We have 2 of them that are B leads, which they may qualify, they may not. We have to follow up and see what's going on with them. And then we have the C leads, the ones that are just unqualified and really don't meet the criteria. So as you can see, the first thing that happens is, automatically by being able to pinpoint the leads that are most likely to qualify for a study, you are able to reduce the time lost on those unqualified leads and allow your employees and recruiters to focus on the ones that qualify the most. So let's go back and continue our story. Oh, I also forgot to mention, I did mention it, but as these leads are coming in, these are in real time, and these are automatically added to CRIO to the corresponding study. So they show up alongside PatientACE. All right, perfect. So we have the leads. Now what happens? Let's continue our show. right here. Okay, part 2 is the follow-up. So what happens typically with most sites? You can see we have a sad Daryl. Days go by. Nobody follows up with leads. It's not like not because they don't want to. It's just because there's so much going on at every site that it's very difficult to keep up with everything. It's a manual process, maybe combing through spreadsheets, combing through the answers for some of the pre-qualification questions to see if they qualify. You're going through one by one. When you're reaching out to the leads, everyone has experienced this voicemail because people don't recognize numbers, and so calls go right to voicemail. If you do by chance meet somebody or are able to talk to somebody, because it's been so long, this is typically the response you get. Oh, I never signed up for that. What is this? What is this about? And so you go through all that, and it's kind of a wasted lead because the follow-up has not happened on a timely basis. And one and done. They might follow up once and then just get frustrated or run out of time and leave it at that. But after PatientACE and CRIO, Daryl experiences instant automatic follow-up. The calls and visits are booked straight to the site calendar. We have some sites that prefer to have 10 to 15-minute calls with the leads, and they're scheduled right into the site's calendar. And then we have some sites where they're happy enough with the pre-qualification that we do that they like to schedule the visits directly into the site's calendar for a pre-screening visit. So that's up to the site how they want to do that. But there is a centralized place for notes and status. Most sites have experienced this. What's the status of XYZ lead? Well, it's somewhere on somebody's spreadsheet on somebody's computer. We don't really know. Of course, it's synced with CRIO, as we mentioned before. So there's Happy Daryl again. Let's go back and kind of talk about that. So as you can see, we'll take an example here, Homer Simpson. We can see once Homer Simpson comes in as a lead, over here is a conversation. This is an automated text message that has gone out to Homer. Hi, Homer. This is Dr. Hibbert from Springfield Research. I just saw your info come through for the study. The next step is to book a call with us for more information. He clicks on the link here, chooses a time for a call, so there's less back and forth and missed calls and things like that, and selects the date, fills out the information, and books his call. Very easy, very simple, but we found that just having the ability to book a call into the calendar reduces the amount of no-shows and improves the contact rate for leads. All right, so you got the call set up. The next step would be to open up the lead, and let's say the person is the site staff is able to talk to them, and they're able to add the notes. There's automated notes already based on the information that was provided when the lead came in, and a site staff can enter more information. So and then you just add that. And then another great part is you can update the status of each lead. So let's say somebody is trying to reach out to Homer, they're not able to reach him. We can drag this card over to first attempt, and that would just indicate that somebody tried to make an attempt to call. And we have different statuses: first attempt, second attempt, third attempt, etc. So the note was made over here, and the The status can also be changed over here to first attempt, second attempt, third attempt, appointment scheduled, etc. So we have all different stages. This can be customized for your site's individual process. But in this example, let's say we have an appointment visit scheduled, and okay, let's say we have a call scheduled, and we will update that. All right, perfect. So now we can see, from a site director standpoint, you can see at a quick glance, okay, we have one lead where a first attempt was made, and then all these other leads are different categories. You can also see how long it's been that since somebody has made an update to that lead. So, for example, if we have A leads, these are all updated today. But if you start seeing leads that are 2 days, 3 days, 7, 10 days old, that would be an indication to just let your staff know to go ahead and reach out to them. So it's a quick at a glance to say the status of all the leads on one screen. All right, going back. All right, so what happens after the initial follow-up? Well, there's more follow-up, never ends. So when you get a live one, you have to open up your email. Let's say you want to send a medical release form. You go to a different screen, you open up your email, you copy and paste the information manually. Maybe you're sending a DocuSign or a PDF, and of course, since you're a good site, you're promptly updating the status on CRIO. Now, that's a lot of stuff to do. You're going into different screens, and it's just a lot of extra steps. But once you update status on PatientACE, we can set it up to have an automated workflow for you. So, for example, a lead can receive an email with a link to sign. The notes and interactions can be added to CRIO, and we can customize it for your work site, for your workflow at your site. So Daryl's happy again. So let's take a look, and let's say we have an appointment visit scheduled with Homer Simpson. And we're going to go to conversations, and oops. Going to open up over here. Sorry, call scheduled. Okay. And I'm going to go over to conversations here. And if anytime somebody texts incoming, an incoming call, then that would show up. Sorry, an incoming text that would show up. Site staff can respond to texts and send emails directly from the platform as well. All right, moving on. We want to talk a little bit about the future. So right now, the current state, every lead requires a human touch. Of course, leads have busy lives. Sites have busy lives, and we have a lot of leads that come in after hours. So what happens with that? This is something that we're rolling out, and it's in beta, but it's called the PatientACE Virtual eRecruiter, and that's basically an AI virtual phone agent where leads can call in. They can get information for a study. The leads contact information can be updated, as well as pre-qualification information can be updated. Of course, that would also be syncable with CRIO, and we can set appointments too. So that's some exciting stuff that's coming down the pike.
All right, Ronak, sorry to have to cut you off, but
all right,
here.
We are done. So thank you so much. If there's any questions, please let me know. And here's some our contact information if anybody would like to reach out. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thanks, Ronak. Appreciate it. All right. And I'll just do a quick 2-minute demo of where everyone can find and connect with the partners that you saw today or throughout the CRIO Partner Expo. All right, first I am going to share tomorrow's agenda. We have one last recruitment support partners day. So we're going to hear from Omni CRS, Patient Qualifier, OpenPath, and Ripple Science. So stay tuned and meet us back tomorrow for these. But before I let you guys go, I'm just going to show you how you can find CRIO partners and search our directory by service to find a partner that meets your needs. So here I am in CRIO. So if you're a CRIO user, and especially in the last few days and tomorrow, if you would like to work with a recruiting partner, you would like to set up an integration with them, it is super easy. It's just via the click of a button. So to get to the partner directory, you will click this question mark here. And once you do that, you'll be taken to the Help Center. And you'll click Partners to get to the partner directory. And here in your search panel, you can feel free to search by the service that your site is looking for. So for recruitment support, anything with API in parentheses next to it means that they have integration capabilities with CRIO. So when you click on a listing, you will be able to contact the partner. You'll be able to look at what services they have. You'll be able to see the ratings that they have from other CRIO sites that have worked with them to help you in your search to find a vendor that integrates with CRIO. All you will have to do if you're an org admin to enable the API is just click this button and it will be enabled within 3 business days or less. So very easy through the CRIO Partner Directory to find and connect with partners that you either saw today or in the future to find partner solutions that are compliant with CRIO and make your lives a little bit easier and eliminate manual burden. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow for the last day of recruitment support. And on Thursday, you will hear from our site operations partners. Thanks again, everyone.